World's most powerful economies have begun negotiations at the G20 summit in London, of course, as we've been saying. You probably know by now they are discussing a deal aimed at tackling the global economic crisis. Well, opening the talks, Gordon Brown said there is significant agreement between the countries. Well, let's talk to Salil Shetty. He's the director of the UN Millennium campaign. As you see, he's in our studios in central London. Good morning to you.
Morning.
What would you like to see when we get the communique a little later today?
I think world leaders are gathering here today at a rather crucial time for the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals, which were goals agreed in September 2000. And these goals are about poverty, illiteracy and disease. So really from the UN perspective, we are very keen that the interests of the poorest people and the poorest countries are taken care of, as the discussions are right now very centered on the richest people in the richest countries.
Yes, I mean, how much confidence do you have that that is the focus for so many of the people there, because we all know the state of the global economy and we all know what the priorities are in terms of making sure it doesn't happen again, regulation, all those sort of issues?
Well, I think if there's one lesson we've learned from the financial crisis and the ongoing climate crisis, it's that, you know, the world is not separated into bits and pieces. We're all in the same ship, and if we're going to sink or swim together. So I think world leaders have begun to understand that, which is why we've moved from the G8 to the G20 now, and hopefully we'll move more seriously towards the G192, which is all the countries in the world. So the Millennium Development Goals are not about the concerns only of the poorest countries. It's the concerns of the planet as a whole.
And to what extent do you feel the Obama administration has taken all that on board? A new man in the White House, perhaps inevitably all the weight of the world on his shoulders as a result. But given his mandate, is there a big focus there?
President Obama has said as part of the campaign, and since he's come to power, that as president, the Millennium Development Goals have become America's development goals. Now, of course, it's one thing to say it, the challenge is now to deliver. And our hopes for the summit in terms of delivering concrete action is very clear, including from President Obama. First and foremost, the rich countries have to keep their aid commitments of 0.7%, which they've made time and again. You know, we have found overnight so many billions of dollars. So all we need for the achievement of the goals are a few $1 million. So it's not like a big deal if they want to deliver. So that's one. Second, on trade protectionism, there's a lot of talk, but we know that even since the last summit, 17 out of the 20 G20 countries have already reneged. So we really need some serious action, and these things need to be monitored, the commitments they make. It's not just, you know, words are cheap, but the delivery is what's crucial. And we've called for a $300 billion bailout package for the poorest countries. Overnight, these leaders are finding, you know, maybe $500 billion to go through the IMF. So it's not that the resources are not there. The question is, do we have the will to make it happen?
Very interesting. Well, perhaps we'll speak again once we know indeed what is in the communique. Thank you for now. Salil Shetty from the UN Millennium campaign.
Well, yesterday, thousands of protesters held demonstrations in the City of London, during which one man collapsed and died. Well, more protests are taking place today. Let's go back to Ben Brown, who's outside the ExCeL Centre in East London, where that summit is being held. And Ben, how many people there with you? What sort of size of the protest there?
Well, to be honest, Matthew, it's not very large, nothing like yesterday so far. I mean, yesterday we had about 4,000, maybe 5,000 in that area around the Bank of England where we were reporting yesterday. Today, probably about 300 or 400 at the most here outside the ExCeL Conference Centre. Let me just show you the